And what do you remember after the cops told you to come through the exit door?
Well, I told Ashley that we had to make a decision. I could stay or go, but because I was so pregnant, I had to save our unborn child because I thought Caleb was going to die, and I thought to myself, that's going to be the last piece of him that I have. I have to save him. So I grabbed Caleb's hand, and he actually squeezed my hand, and I told him that I loved him and that I would take care of our baby if he didn't make it.
And what do you remember after that?
We ran towards the exit, and we jumped over people that were laying on the ground. I don't know if they were alive or not, but we jumped over their bodies, and we ran to the exit, and I was wearing flip-flops, so I remember as we were running out the exit door that I slipped in blood, and the cop actually caught me because it was a lot of blood.
And what do you remember after the cop catching you and you slipping on blood? What did you do after that?
They set us out on the curb. It was me and Ashley, and then there was a couple out there also, and at one point there was a girl who actually came out and sat next to us also. We know her as Jansen Young now.
At the time, you had just met her for the first time.
Yeah, I didn't know her name. I didn't know her name for a long time, actually.
Okay. And so what happened when you were sitting out on the curb?
They started to bring injured out. The cops started to pull people out onto the sidewalk. And some people they started to load into the car. I remember them loading one girl, and they said, I don't think that she's going to make it. I don't think she's going to make it to the hospital.
And what do you remember after that?
I remember that they pulled Caleb out onto the sidewalk, and that I could see that he was still breathing, but they had to lay him on his face because of all the blood that was just pouring, and so they didn't want him to aspirate.
And then what happened to Caleb when he was out there on the sidewalk?
We actually got moved before we were able to see him loaded anywhere. I had no idea what had happened to him at that time.
So they didn't let you stay with your husband on the sidewalk?
We stayed on the curb for just a few minutes, enough for me to talk to Jansen. She had come out and she sat next to me, and she told me that I think my boyfriend is dead. She's like, I'm pretty sure that he's dead. And I hugged her because I didn't know what else to do. We were all just in shock, not believing this was happening. And so I put my arm around her, and I remember that when I took my arm off her, that there were chunks of blood and of him on me.
And what do you remember after that?
The cop who was with us told us that we had to move out of the location where we were at because they were worried that there was a bomb in a car right near where we were sitting.
And where did they take you after that?
They took us to, it was more towards like the front of the building, but at the back of the parking lot. And that was the last time I saw Caleb at that time for many hours.